Hello everyone and welcome back to Bacon. Also welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon, Evermore. We're going to be continuing on with Rumple's route. Did I press start instead of continue? I'm great like that. Okay, I believe we were right here. We're gonna load. I'm amazing. So good at what I do. What a brilliant day. The sun is shining, the town is full of laughter, and I have my sweet Lucette here to accompany me. It's kind of a fun throwback to the original game when she did that, where she was like, I have my sweet princess here, and she was all like, don't know. Wrong. I was going to say I have my lovely queen here to accompany me. Nim, 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 nim. That's the same thing. Chevalier laughs. I beg to differ. Queen is far more regal title. But I'm not even queen yet. You're already one in spirit. I cannot help my smile as I turn my attention to the scenery. The town square is bustling with activity when we arrive, despite the cold weather. Though it is sunny, a chill wind brushes my skin and rumples my dress. It's so cold. I do not realize I am huddled close to Chevalier until he loops an arm around my waist and pulls me to his side. As always, I am amazed at how comfortably I fit. It's at times like these that I feel I should buy a new scarf. He grins. I could get you one too. Better yet, we could buy matching scarves. I would wear a paper bag over my head before matching with you. You're so radiant, you can make anything a fashion statement, princess, even a paper bag. It would be a shame not to gaze upon your beautiful features, though. His voice fades as he spots a nearby stall. Fabrics are draped across the makeshift shelves and tacked onto boards. Scarves are included in the assortment. Ah, look here, how convenient. Last time I arrived early at the margin for a meeting with Senna, he was not there. He was partaking in one of his silly hobbies. I suppose it would not hurt to keep him waiting. We can spare a few minutes. Onwards, then! We have just arrived at the stall when I pause, noticing two ladies standing not too far away. I can tell by the looks they throw in our direction that they are speaking about us. I move closer to the edge of the stall while Chevalier holds up a few scarves. He and the stall owner do not even notice me. Don't understand what she could have seen in him. Aye, unless she took pity on him? In the last game, everyone had respect and affection for Chevalier, and it looks like it's opposite. I think it's because of how often he was, like, flirting with people, maybe? I guess we're gonna find out. The Ice Princess taking pity on some poor doctor. The two women giggle. Not only is he much older than her, but he's not even handsome, is he? And not very competent, last I heard. If I were him, I'd be ashamed to be seen as the princess's consort. They look like they're the noble ladies, number one, and they're always little jerk faces. Secondly, there's a lot of problems with Chevalier. One problem that he does not have is being ugly. Chevalier, at the very least, is not ugly. Lucette? I startle when Chevalier puts a hand on my shoulder. Is something wrong? His eyes flicker briefly to the women. He is smiling, but it is a half-hearted smile. He squeezes my shoulder. Don't worry about them, Lucette. I can still hear the ladies tittering behind me. They're being extraordinarily rude. Save. Yes. Okie doke. Go back. Leave them be. Confront them. I kind of feel like she wants to confront them. But that might cause a bigger scene than necessary. And we've already been proven in the last option where you choose to either wake him up or not wake him up. It's supposed to be decisions based on what's best for him, it seems like. And what might be best for him is just to leave them be, because who freaking cares in the long run? We'll try that. But Chev is right. They are a waste of my time. I turn toward Chevalier, who looks relieved. He immediately changes the subject, picking up a fuchsia pink scarf and holding it up for me to see. What do you think of this one? For you? It looks like something Claude would wear. No, no, for you, my lovely princess. He raises the scarf higher, glasses glinting. You're always in blue, but I think pink would really bring out the color of your eyes. I hope that's your only reason for wanting to see her in pink. Pink is more Emmeline's color. Oh, I think it would look nice on you. It's ugly. Chevalier laughs. As always, your honesty is a treasure. You show me things like that just because you enjoy it when I insult them, don't you? Of course, your scowl is radiant. One thing that I didn't mention is that there's a lot more animation in this game versus than the original, which I also appreciate. How, like, they actually blink and stuff like that, versus before they were just solid 2D, only moved when they would, like, change expression. I roll my eyes as Chevalier turns back to the stall. You ought to head back to the Martian now. We can always return later. So it was correct. Chevalier nods his assent before following after me. So we are supposed to be making decisions that are better for him versus things that we would prefer to do that are either good for us or something that we want to indulge in, I guess, would be a good way to put it. We have arrived. So far, the choices have been to put him first. And that's fine. You know, if you're with a partner, you should consider, okay, how could things impact them? It's not just about me. Again, my concern is more, it'll become too much about putting Chevalier first and then ignoring her own needs at some point. I'm very concerned that that's what's going to happen. Chevalier strolls into the Martian with his usual enthusiasm. I also assume that hopefully Chevalier will be putting her needs ahead of himself if they're going to have her be doing the same thing to him, because that's kind of in his personality anyway, is to put her ahead of himself. I will say that much about Chevalier. He has some pretty deep crappiness in his personality, but that's one thing I feel like can be relied on him for, is that he would put his partner above himself as much as he comfortably could. And that means that, like, if there's a patient in need, you know, not wanting to take money or whatever, that was one of the few cases in which his partner would not come first. But other than that, and that's a pretty big leap right there, other than that, he would put his partner ahead of himself to the point where, like, you can cheat on him, and it'd be more about talking to him about it, being honest with him, and then you might even be able to salvage things because of hurt feelings, stuff like that. Not that I approve of cheating, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Chevalier strolls into the Martian with his usual enthusiasm. Good morning, Lady Delora. Waltz the Big. You still calling him that? You're so pretty. Oh, Delora! Hello? She got real snaky. Like, she got real snaky. Like, even her curls of hair are just like snake tails. Is she gonna become a villain, or is she just meant to have the evil queen aesthetic? Delora and Waltz, who were in the middle of a conversation, turned to face us. Not that I have any problem with this. This is actually, like, my real life aesthetic. Like, nobody ever guesses it based on my personality and the fact that most of the time when I'm at home, I'm just in my sweats or whatever. But when I actually go out, this is kind of what I look like. Except that my contacts, I don't have any red contacts at the moment, otherwise I totally would. But yeah, I even have a dress that looks similar to this. Oh dear. So don't get me wrong, I like the evil witch look. I'm just concerned, since we've already proven that people who look kind of snaky, like Myth, turn out to be evil. Please don't betray us, Delora. Well, look what the cat dragged in. Walt sighs. She also looks more like a mean girl now, too. Good morning, you two. Chevalier has called him Waltz the Big so many times he no longer bothers reacting to it. And if I did get red contacts, though, I'd rather get Waltz's, because those are a really pretty shade of red. Let me guess, Lucette, you're here to speak with Senna, and Chevalier, you're here for Anise. On point as always. Do you know where I might find her? Waltz gestures with a thumb at the reception room. Apparently Anise has been in there for the last few hours sorting through papers. You sure stuck her with a lot of work, Chevalier. Have I? I've been trying to alleviate some of the stress by doing most of the paperwork myself, but I jest. Delora, it's so nice to know that you still have inappropriate jokes. You know, messing with people's emotional states in times when you really probably shouldn't be doing that. I'm sure everyone appreciates your humor around here. Do you also make fun of everyone's former curses? Just to, I don't know, make them laugh. You think it's funny? Lady Delora? You. A voice comes from the reception room doorway. The voice belongs to an irritated boy I've met only a handful of times since he arrived in NGL. Cinna, Parfay's cousin, the newly dubbed Lucis bearer. And so it starts. Could you be any louder, old man? Chevalier is completely unfazed. He grins brightly as Cinna enters the room. What an honor it is to see you again, tiny lord. No rebuttals today, Cinnamon? You're unbearable. Ah, so you're in the mood for banter. I'm more in the mood to smash a plate over your head. Such violence! Chevalier turns to look at me with a glimmering smile. What say you, Lucette? What? Don't you have anything to contribute to the conversation? Okay. Break up the conversation. Tease Cinna. Okay. Let's see. I'd prefer to break up the conversation and get on with what we were here for versus tease Cinna. Personally. Chevalier, do not patronize him. And Cinna, you know Chevalier's heart is made of glass. You'll break it if you insult him too much. Chevalier releases a dramatic sigh. I'm afraid my princess speaks the truth. Dolores snorts and quirks an eyebrow. Does she now? You two really do have a strange relationship, don't you? Strange? I think the word you're searching for is honest. As always, these comments do not faze Chevalier, but... I was correct. Cool. My eyes fall on Cinna, who is smirking. I can tell from the look on Chevalier's face that he meant for this to happen. You're a soft heart for sure. I'll take that as a compliment. Think of it what you will, old man. Manners, Cinnamon. Cinna cocks an eyebrow at Delora. As always, he looks unimpressed. He turns to face me. I'm assuming you came to see me? That is correct. And the old man? I'm here to see a niece. Since the two of you have a meeting, I'll go ahead and excuse myself. He leans forward to plant a kiss on my forehead. I'll be in the other room if you need me, my sweet Lucette. He shows himself out of the room with a genteel bow. So, what do you need from me, Princess Lucette? I get straight to the point, describing my nightmares and my hypothesis that the crystal are imbalanced. Cinna scoffs and crosses his arms. With all due respect, Your Highness, your nightmares don't prove anything. What evidence is there that your nightmares are being caused by an imbalance in the crystallum? You're not even going to look into it or something? And before people are like, well, he's a kid, what did you expect? I was capable of a lot by the time I was 10 years old. A lot more than most people would give me credit for. I was the unfortunate, genius kid of the family where if I came home with a C from a test, a C, I would get heavily punished. So I was very capable of a lot of different things. And he is clearly a pretty intelligent kid. So it's not the fact that he's a child that is the problem here. The problem is that he's being, in general, it seems, willfully defiant, I guess. Like, for some reason, he's decided that everyone here is below him, is a good way to put it. And because he's decided that everyone here is below him, for whatever reason, he's not going to take anything we say seriously. And he's basically like the mayor in Jaws, where he's still going to keep the beach open even though there's been evidence of sharks. If anything, shouldn't you be more critical of yourself? Excuse me? Cinnamon. It could be that the weight of the crystal was overwhelming you, perhaps. Or maybe you are a failure as a witch. I am so wrapped up in my thoughts I missed the rest of Cinna's words. Dolores sighs. What Lucette said might be valid, actually. You've just started taking over Parfay's responsibilities, Cinna. The balance was already skewed before you arrived. It'll take a while to restore it to the way it was before the war. I think he's just being unnecessarily nasty because he feels like it. I'm doing my job just fine, thanks. Aren't you supposed to be in charge of the crystal that has all the good feels? What's with the freaking attitude? Wallace looks between Cinna and Delora, eyebrows scrunched. Is there any way to measure the balance? Usually the imbalance reveals itself physically, but... So as far as I can see, there's no disturbances in NGL. Except she's having some nightmares and she's a bearer. What would these disturbances even look like on Cinna's side? I'll keep my eyes open for anything that feels off. Likewise, let's hold off on forming any conclusions until we know more about the situation. Let us know if the problem persists, Princess. Fine. It feels as if everyone lets out a collective sigh of relief when I let the subject drop. You guys aren't even the littlest bit concerned that the bearer here is having severe nightmares, which, if she is having a rough time, could lead to imbalance, or, you know, eventually her killing somebody, taking over a kingdom, becoming completely insane. You should probably be taking these things a little more seriously than you currently are. And especially, like, given the past history you guys have with her, including in Rumple/Chevalier's route, ignoring these things isn't a good idea. So why are you still doing it? But I can't just be imagining all of this, right? Our conversation turns to more practical things after that. Waltz and Delora bring me to speed with recent events. 2 years ago, the tavern was open to the public. As far as I'm aware, Waltz uses the space to teach young witches magic. Another thing I'm concerned about is, it's like they're trying to sweet talk her out of seeing an issue. Not necessarily gaslighting, just, they kind of reminded me of those managers where, like, you would be sick and need to go home or something. And they would be like, well, are you sure you're really that sick? Are you sure you can't handle just even like this much more? It's not really that much. That's what that felt like just now. And it's to the whim of a child versus a full-grown adult. And again, I think that children are capable of a lot more than a lot of people think that they are. But this guy is far more new to being a bearer than Lucette is. Lucette's had a couple of years on him now, versus he's only just coming into his own just now. Like, why are you trusting in his word and his intuition rather than the person who's the most involved right now? I'm a little confused. Delora also uses the tavern as a base of operations for the Angiel witches. Anise, who was working here until recently, is soon to be leaving. Waltz is just telling me about her plans for the future when the reception doors open and Chevalier enters with Anise in tow. Okay, first of all, I love you. She is still adorable. I love her, I love her, I love her, I love her, I love her. I love her. Anyway, I heard you talking about Anise and brought her immediately. Anise looks particularly small standing in Chevalier's shadow. Her smile is soft and shy. Though the passing years have given her greater confidence, she is still remarkably unchanged from the Anise I met years ago. She is still kind-hearted and a good listener, and still very good with herbs and food. Hello, Anise. Good afternoon, Your Highness. We were just talking about you, Anise, as Chevalier seemed to hear. Are you sure you weren't eavesdropping? Of course not. I just have very good ears. Yeah, that's all. It's not an eavesdropper at all. I waste no time in asking Anise about the details of the move. It was Chevalier who proposed the idea. He insisted that Anise, who had always dreamed of working full-time as an herbalist, could make her dream come true if she had the space to sell her herbs and ointments. Chevalier offered her his old clinic space last month. They had been working on the documentation this month. So the big house that he had with his fiancée wasn't the clinic. And as it turns out, we've just finished the last of the paperwork. And there you have it. Soon, Lady Anise will be the wonderful new owner of the clinic down the street. She'll become a renowned herbalist and transform the place into a miraculous and humble sanctuary for all those in need. I have no doubt she will be loved by all of her patients. I don't think I'll be anywhere near as renowned as you are, Chevalier. The two laugh and smile, but I note the way Chevalier's smile slips as he looks at Anise. It is only for a few moments, but he looks sad. There have been so many changes this last month. Cinna moving into the tavern, my recent nightmares, an increase in my palace duties, Chevalier giving up the clinic to Anise. Chevalier has only recently taken up my father's offer to become the palace's official physician, and yet it seems wrong somehow. Lucette? Chevalier takes my hand and rubs a thumb across my palm. My heart eases when he flashes me a bright smile. I push away my anxiety and turn back to the conversation. No, I must be imagining things. Everything is fine. Right? I was just wondering if it was going to be chapters and how many there might be. Let's see. I'm actually going to go ahead and end things here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore Chevalier's route. If you liked the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, share, all that lovely stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!